tonight. We have Connie, who not only writes YA, but she writes a few other things. So she'll come in and speak to you soon. Then we have Steve, who obviously writes YA, and he also writes some children's books as well. And then we have Mina, who's relatively new to the scene. We want you to all meet and love her, and obviously we're sure you're absolutely going to adore her books, and we want you to grab that. So first, I believe we've got Connie and Michael, who's going to be joining us and letting us know a bit more about her new YA romance that she's got coming out. So if you can tell all of the viewers that we have out here a little bit about your YA, because I know it's something new that you're coming into because you're more into romance and adult romance books. So let us hear about the new YA you have coming up.
Yes, it's called Forsaken, and it's actually the second book in a 3-book series of sort of world has come to an end, and there is a group of people called the Screamers, who are sort of zombie-like, infected with a virus that has happened because of a lot of not taking care of the earth. So kind of environmental. It touches on the oil spill that happened a while ago, nuclear power and how it's leaked into our oceans and caused this infection. And one girl who is trying to save as many people as she can.
And do we have any romance in there? Because you know everybody's going to ask about a bit of romance.
Yes, there is romance. Definitely.
There is romance.
I can't write without romance. So
who has a book without romance? So
I know that would not be good.
No, that is absolutely perfect. Now I wonder whether if we happen to have, because I know on screen right now you can all see the book. It's somewhere here. The book title. There it is. It's somewhere there. And do any of you have any questions for Connie? Let's see. Do you want to hear a bit more about the book? Maybe you want to hear a bit more about Connie, where she's from, what she does. Let's hear the questions. Or see the questions, because only you can hear us. And if not, we're going to fill it in with Jenny Bobblehead, because that's the thing. No, we have nothing come through yet. I'm sure they're probably trying to catch up. So with this being book 2 in the series, and is it releasing soon or is it out now? Can we buy it?
Yes, it's out now. It's on Amazon and a few other places. I think it's actually on Walmart online as well. But it came out in May, and I'm just finishing up the last book in the series. That goes to my editor end of July, and so that should be out sometime around November, and then I will go backwards and write the first one.
Sounds perfect. I was just going to ask you about book 3. So we have Katie. Hold on, I just completely missed Katie's question. Katie, I'll come back to yours.
Favorite romance movie? I think that's what it was.
It was.
My anything Nicholas Sparks. Anything. Notebook is probably my all-time favorite because I read the book first and then saw the movie, and just anything Nicholas Sparks. Totally love him, and my husband does too. So I get to go see all of the movies.
And I think Tanya also asked. She says she'd like to know a bit more about you and how you came up with the plot line for this book.
This book actually took me, and my son pointed this out to me, it took me 8 years to write this book. I started writing it during one of the nano competition, see if you can write a book in 100 and some days. And so that was the first version. And then I didn't really have an ending, so I let it sit for a long time, wrote my adult romance books, kind of fiddled around with some other things, and then this last summer I pulled it out again and finished it. I currently live in Montana, and I'm a teacher at the Crow Indian Reservation. So it's a little bit about me. I have 2 grown boys, so I've just started to have more time to write because they moved out. I don't have to do laundry anymore.
That frees up plenty of time. We also have Leslie, she's just asked, in what way do you write differently when you're writing YA?
I think that I kind of write the same. I don't outline. I just write, but I keep notebooks for all of my books. So then when things come to me, I will write them down out of order, and then I kind of stick it all back together again. This one was a little. I love research, so my other books I write have been based on their military romance, so they're based on the war in Afghanistan. So for this one, I researched the way that they do clean up oil spills, as well as some of the things that they've done to clean up some of the nuclear waste that happened after the tidal wave in Japan. So anything that I can research usually ends up in a book.
Well, research always good when it ends up in a book, because we want to make sure it's factually correct.
Yes.
Because somebody will pull that apart. And so, do you actually prefer writing YA, or do you prefer the romance genre?
I kind of like the older young adult, so kind of the end of high school. And I know that once you leave high school, they like to call it new adult, but it's still my characters are still younger, so they're more geared toward young adult than they would an adult reader. I write very clean, so they fall into that young adult.
So if you're looking for a clean book out there, guys, get one of Connie's, because they're the way forward. And also do check out this series, and make sure that you all grab a copy at least of her first or second book while it's out before you get the third one. Then you can do a bit of binge reading.
Yep, it's a good beach read.
Let's just have a look here. Okay, so let's see. So I don't think we have any more questions for Connie right now, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to leave off with Connie, and we're going to introduce Steve. And if you get any other questions for Connie, do feel free to pop them in the comments below. We can go back to Connie at the end and we can ask anyone. So let's introduce Steve. Hi, Steve. I see you there.
Hello, how is everybody this evening?
We're all doing fine, and I'm sure we have plenty of watches going on at the moment. We do have people popping in and out. So, Steve, you write, obviously, YA. You write the Lizardville, the ghost story, but I know you also write middle-age school children's books as well. If you could tell us a bit more about Lizardville and what you write and why you enjoy writing.
I enjoy writing the young adult novels. Lizardville came to me. I grew up in a small town in central Pennsylvania, so the book takes place in that same town. And I grew up on a road called Lizardville Road, so that's where I came up with the title. And there was an old axe factory there. There was an old dam there. And a lot of that I incorporated into the book, and added the paranormal element to give it a little bit of suspense.
I'm sure, and obviously Lizardville is available. Is it going to be part of a trilogy, or are you going to write any other books that coincide with it? Have you got anything coming up, anything in the works that you can tell us about right now?
Originally, Lizardville was going to be a standalone novel. I've had a lot of folks reach out to me and ask when the next book's coming out. So I have been working diligently to get another book in to kind of answer some of those questions that were not answered in the first book. So there will be a duology with 2 books in the series, and I'm probably going to leave it at that. I may do a few other spin-off books with the Lizardville Ghost series, but they won't be in line with this one.
Well, that sounds perfect. Nobody likes to leave a question unanswered. I mean, that's just what happens in books. We like to answer questions.
Exactly.
So you're planning that one. Do you know when you're looking at releasing that? Do you know how far ahead it is, or are you just deep in writing it?
I'm halfway through. I'm assuming it'll come out sometime in 2018. I was working on another ghost story, but I kind of put that on hold to go back and answer the questions that remain from the first one. Just, like I said, I had a lot of great success with this book, and I was thrilled with that. And I'm glad that the readers reached out and were asking, what happened here, what happened there. And so I've gone back and I've been working on that to finish the story for them.
Well, that definitely sounds perfect, and I'm sure you'll hear it here first when we know an actual date that Steve's going to release the second book. And
Absolutely.
What I'm going to do is I'm also going to throw it over to you guys, because I'm sure you're going to have some questions for Steve as well, just like you did, Connie. So let's see what you've got to ask Steve about his ghost stories. And maybe you could even throw in a question if you have middle grade children as well, because I know Steve does some books for middle grade. Because we're a bit of an all-rounder here.
Yeah, I enjoyed writing some of the middle grade stories as well. I did a series on the Gabby and Maddox Adventure series, cute for the 6 to 8-year-old age group.
We do have a question from Leslie. She asks if you listen to music while you write, and if so, what sort of music? She also does, however, like your T-shirt as well.
Well, the T-shirts actually, they just arrived yesterday. So, and yeah, I'll get back to the question. Yes, I do listen to music sometimes when I'm writing, usually a softer music. I like rock and roll, the old type rock and roll, but I keep the music very low. I don't like it loud, just something to kind of drown out background noise. Back to the T-shirts, they just came out yesterday. They're going to be available on the website shortly. Currently, my website is being rebuilt, and they're going to redo the store portion of it in the front page. So there'll be a lot of options on the store with easier checkouts, and the shirts will be available adult sizes, small, medium, and large, just like you see here with the Lizardville Ghost Stories logo. And also, I just found out the Lizardville will be coming out in a couple of weeks, a remake of this one. Same story, but in the hardback, the hardcover version.
Oh, you're releasing the hardback. Do you have it in audio yet for those readers that like to listen to their books?
I do not. It's something that we have talked about.
Definitely. We do have a lot of love going for the shirt going on right now. There's a lot of love for the shirt.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of why I wore it tonight. I came out, and I loved it. I wore it to work today, and a lot of the folks are like, I want one. I'm like, yeah, they're very reasonably priced. I think they're like $12.99 on the website with shipping and handling. I think it's all like $3 for that. So again, it'll be in small, medium, and large, and it really goes well with the book. So
yes, it does go perfectly with the book. I don't know where you came up with Lizardville from on your shirt. Tanya asks if you can tell us a bit more about yourself and what you like to do when you're not writing.
I grew up in Pennsylvania, a small town in Pennsylvania. I currently live in Florida. Came down here about 30 years ago and just loved the weather and decided I'm not leaving. And that was that. I just had enough of the cold winters in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
It's too darn hot.
Yes. So, and I love amusement parks, which was another reason that attracted me to Florida. The hot weather. I love the beach, laying around the swimming pool, sitting by the pool, reading a good book. That's something I just love to do every weekend. And, and writing, spending a lot of time writing.
So what do you do other than spending time at the pool when you're not writing?
We go to amusement parks. We like to travel, my wife and I. We took a trip a couple years ago to Italy, spent 2 weeks there. That's when I came up with the Gabby and Maddox Adventures in Italy story. A lot of facts and about the country in there, as well as a lot of daydreaming where he becomes a gladiator or he's in a chariot race, things like that. Gabby turns herself into Gabby Angelo and is painting in the Sistine Chapel. So just a lot of imagination with the children and a fun little story there. But we intend to get over to London one of these days soon. Love to get on over to Paris and maybe even some trips back into Italy. My wife hasn't been to Milan yet.
London's great. You need to go to my neck of the woods. That's what you need to do.
We are planning that, and you're gonna show us around, correct?
I'm going to be tour host. I'll do that in my spare time, just between everything else.
Okay, sounds good.
We can go visit Harry Potter.
That would be wonderful. I would love that.
Okay, so does anybody else have any other questions? Otherwise, what I think we're going to do is we're going to leave off with Steve for now, and we're going to pass over to Mina. She should be around somewhere. And if you think of anything, we will come to everybody at the end, and we can all have a bit of a chat and everything. So next up, we're going to have Mina. She has her first book out now, and she is, I believe, in the process as well. We actually do know she's going to be releasing her second book later this year. So hello, Mina. Tell us a bit more about you, your books, and what you've got coming up.
Well, that's Hero High, and I'm working on the next one right now, and I have a novella coming out, and I'm working on concepts for the third book. Hero High is a YA superhero fantasy novel that should be a lot of fun, hopefully.
And what is the premise on Hero High? Tell us a bit more about the story, the blurb. Why should we read Hero High?
Hero High is a superhero fantasy story about an island called Icon City, where they produce all of these superhero reality TV shows. And they produce, hundreds of thousands about all these different kinds of superheroes. And our main character sort of gets thrown into this reality TV show that's made for the teens. And it's sort of based around a superhero high school. And she gets thrown in there with a terrible power and doesn't really know what to do in front of the cameras. And she sort of starts uncovering a conspiracy. And it's kind of silly, and it's a lot of fun, and it's sparkly and goofy. These are not dark, gritty superheroes. These are fun, goofy, play to the camera kind of superheroes.
And do we expect any romance? What sort of, is it a building series that grows with the reader? Are we looking at the same sort of timeline? What sort of thing are the readers to expect when they're looking at book 2 to come out?
Well, there's a fair amount of romance, but there's also a large mystery plot as well. It's sort of jumps around the place. It's pretty fast-paced, or at least I designed it to be fast-paced, and it's definitely lays the blocks for the second book, which I think is probably better than the first one. And the second book really goes into the themes and all the building blocks that I set out for the first one. Just sort of the pitfalls of having a reality TV show based around all these superheroes, and what it's like having a city that's built around reality TV and around worshipping all these superheroes, and sort of the ups and downs of all of that, and heroism itself, or at least.
And other than the YA series that you're currently writing, are you considering writing any other type books, going into a different genre, branching out in any other ways? Any other little snippets that you can give people out there that will be like, just a nice little secret that's going on there?
I like to, I'll have to move on from Hero High eventually. But there's just so much I can write for it, and I'm planning on writing a new series that will probably be somewhere between middle grade and YA. I really want to get into middle grade. I like the idea of writing kids books or tween books, or just something that bridges the gap between the two. And I will probably move away from superhero stuff eventually, but not yet.
Everybody's got to move away from a superhero eventually. I don't think I've managed it yet, but we'll get there eventually. It takes a few years. So let's also throw out the questions to everyone for Mina and see. I know some people were popping up saying, it sounds great, sounds really interesting, the book. So, and we all like a sparkly cover.
Yeah. I think the next covers might be even better, but it doesn't feature any sparkles, so I'm sorry.
How can we not have sparkles?
Yeah, that's what I thought, but it still looks pretty good.
But have you already designed the cover already? Are you?
Yeah, I think if you go to my Facebook page, you can see the second cover that's been designed. It may have like a couple of tweaks here and there, but if you go to my page, you can see it right next to the first one.
So you can all go and see it now. See, so
yes, you can
go
go and see
page
it.
and you can go and see it. I mean, we didn't even have a special party cover reveal for it, so it's already right there. Maybe for book 3.
I just
keep it a
did
secret.
It unceremoniously. I was too excited.
It's supposed to be a secret.
I'm sorry.
But since it's out there, so I'm still. Everybody's saying that they love your book cover going on here.
Oh, thank you.
And that the book sounds really exciting. Let's see. And there's lots of people saying hi. So let's have a look while we're waiting for people to.
Well, I'm glad everybody likes the cover. I designed it myself, and it took a very long time, around about the length it took me to write the book.
So do you have something, a secret little tidbit that you can give from book 2 that you can just give to the fans that are listening now or come back later, just without giving the story of book 2 away, because we don't want you to do that.
Jeez,
because you're going to go buy it to get that.
I mean, if you've read the first one, which you probably haven't, because basically no one has, but if you've read the first one, then book 2 builds on some pretty interesting stuff, and some interesting supervillains come back. Definitely, there's no stone left unturned in book 2. I think, definitely.
And what do you like to do when you're not writing and when you're just having some downtime? What do you like to do when you're not doing that sort of thing?
I draw and I paint. Pretty much non-stop. It's either alternating between writing or just painting and drawing. I paint about every week. I've got a lot of paintings. I've never sold one, but I enjoy painting and I like drawing. And one of the reasons I got into writing was because when I was very little, I usually just drew the characters that I wanted to make stories about a lot of the time. And that never turned into comics. It turned into writing instead. So.
We do have one question, but I'm afraid it's from your mum. So,
yep.
Yeah,
that's about what I expected.
I'm pretty sure she knows the answer to this.
Hey, she's supportive, so can't complain.
So she just asked if you listen to music while you write.
Yes, I mean, actually, I have some tips for listening to music when you write, because I don't think too many people listen to a lot of regular songs while they're writing. If you want to listen to music while you're writing and concentrate at the same time, it's pretty helpful to listen to video game music because it's repetitive enough in that you get sort of a feeling for what you're writing, but it's repetitive enough and there are no lyrics so that you won't get distracted at all while you're writing. And if not that, then if it's not like regular music that I've created a playlist for, then it'll usually be rain sound or something. Environmental sounds that I get from like mynoise.net, and I'll sort of build the environment around the scene or something like that. If I'm having
Tanya says you're very creative.
Oh,
obviously, all the painting and everything. Maybe you should consider doing. I don't know whether you've got somewhere that you can put a list of music that you listen to in the background that maybe other people can go grab and listen to as well. Maybe while they're reading the book, or maybe just to get the feel of what goes on in your brain while you're writing. It might be a good thing. We can do that.
I could probably recommend like some video game music that I think is pretty great. But I actually have a specific soundtrack for the book that you can find in the book. It's just, the book is, they just have chapter headers. So if you see that, chapter 1 is just, it's called Hello, and that's named after a song. And each chapter is named after a song in the book. So you can there's actually a built-in soundtrack. You just have to know where to look for it. So,
see, that's awesome, and something that readers really, really need to know. Because without that, you wouldn't know that there was a hidden soundtrack.
No,
so there's a hidden bonus.
I have never told anybody that, but it is. It's a hidden soundtrack for all of my books.
It's
the second one does that too.
That's awesome. So thank you so much. What we're actually going to do is we're going to bring all three of the YA authors back. And, oh, okay, we can only do two at a time. Apparently the thing doesn't like doing three. So we're going to bring two at a time back. So
All right.
I don't know who we're going to have back first because I'm not in control of that.
Looks like it's me.
Hi, Connie.
Hi.
Connie, Mina, Connie.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I like your bobbleheads behind you.
So,
Oh, thank you. I have a lot of them.
it's a thing. We have them too here. We've just had to move from our normal spot, which is in front of the bookcase that has Harry Potter on it. Anyway. It's all a bit much. So obviously you both, although you both write YA, you write different aspects of YA.
Pretty different.
One is very environmental and the other is very much superhero based. So I mean, there's a lot of differences. Do you think that it would be difficult to switch, say, Connie, for you to write a superhero book and Mina, for you to write about an environmental issue? Do you think it would be more difficult, even in the same genre, to switch?
I don't think so, because I'm a huge superhero fan, and I like giving my characters powers. This book I did not, but I have another book that I'm hoping to get out in the next year where they have supernatural powers that, to fight for the good. So I don't think it would be hard.
I don't know. I think I could probably do it, but it would probably be a bit shorter than my regular superhero stuff, because I sort of just go full force, whereas the more, I think, human stories, the less goofy stories that I've written, usually tend to be shorter and just tighter made. So, yeah, probably.
It's always worth putting out there. And obviously, while I am doing this and we're chatting backwards and forwards, if anybody that is out there, because I know there is a few of you because you keep popping over my screen, have any questions for Connie or Mina, please just pop up and we will get those answered for you. So, are either of you planning on any kind of personal appearance later this year? Have you got any events you're going to, any sign-ins? Maybe whether you're actually sitting at the sign-in or you're just going to go visit and you can walk around?
Since I'm in Montana, we don't have a lot of signings. But Montana does have a huge book festival in the fall, and I'm hoping to be a part of it this year. I was supposed to be last year, but because of weather, I couldn't actually get there. But like I said, that would be the only place that you would find me. I moved from Washington and used to be a part of a group of authors that would travel around and do book signings, but Montana's a little sparse on that, so I need to work on getting a group together.
As for me, no, definitely not. It would be nice, but no. That would be nice, but there's I live in a pretty small town, and there's basically one local bookstore, and it's pretty small. I don't really leave. It's very comfortable here. Yeah. But, there was something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, there is a crafts festival in my small town that I was planning to go to, and hopefully I can take my books and some of my artwork and all that stuff. But that's about it.
Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to switch Steve in to answer this question also. So hold on, Connie, you're still here. Yep. So Steve, hi Steve. So
Hello.
Do you have any personal appearances coming up that we can find you at?
I will be at the West Shore Mall in September. I believe it's September 16th. They have a large book fair going on there at the mall, the shopping mall. I have a booth down there for that. I've also got in Melbourne Square Mall on the other side of the state. In December, I'll be there, and we're working on getting a few other book signings lined up at Barnes and Noble locations.
I know you do enjoy your Barnes and Noble locations.
Yes.
And I
They've been very,
believe
very
we were
nice
at West Shore last year. Barnes and Noble is really, really great for authors to get in, especially local Barnes and Noble, because they're more likely to put you in and have them.
Yes, they've been very helpful. And it's the third annual I can't remember the name of it now. It's On Point Book Fair at the West Shore Plaza coming up in September.
Yeah, we went to visit Janelle, one of our other YA authors. Right now she's touring around the UK and Ireland, so she couldn't be here. We went and met her there last year because that's right between Diane and I's birthdays. Yes, it's really sad that... So we went and seen Janelle there. So I'm surprised we didn't see you there last year, actually, if you were there, Steve.
I was not there. I was only there as a spectator. I did not know about it.
We spectate all the time. We go to book conferences all the time and spectate. We do a lot of spectating. We like that. It's a spectator sport.
That's where I met Janelle for the first time.
See, that's it. You met her. We'd already been speaking to her, but Janelle's a great. We'll have Janelle on another time. So, I mean, what we do have, it's been great with you guys here. But what we do want to announce as well is BookRhythm for all those people that are still watching or not watching. Anyone that's left a comment, a question, or has a comment or question, better speak up because we're going to give one lucky winner a surprise pack. We're just going to make a pack here and then we're going to pick a winner out the comments and we will give somebody something away. And if you ever have seen our surprise packs, some of them are great. They really are awesome. So I want to thank you, Steve, for taking part tonight. I know it was our first one and we had some technical issues. And Connie, thank you so much. And we will have you back again because we are going to do more of these and we won't have the technical issues. And of course, we need to say thank you to Mina as well for all of you being here and discussing your books. And you can find all of these authors on BookRhythm. All of their links are there to their books. If you need to know anything else, we can put you directly in touch. You can find all sorts of information out on their Facebook pages and their websites. Mm-hmm. So we look forward to seeing you all again soon. And